What's behind the third seal of Revelation? In the prophecies of Daniel, God told Daniel that the words would be closed and sealed until the time of the end. Now is the time of the end, and God's words and prophecies are being opened and unsealed so that we can know what's happening and be prepared. What's behind the third seal of Revelation? The seals of Revelation identify events to take place in the next 20 years or so. First seals reveal 4 colored horses. God assigned the 4 spirit horses in Zechariah 6. The horses are 4 spirits going out from the Lord. The black horses go to the north, and that's related to the third seal. You can see the directions indicated in Zechariah 6. As we consider the possibilities of what is behind the third seal of Revelation, we should also be aware that there's a good possibility that the first seal of Revelation, the white horse from the west, has gone out and its rider has declared war on terror. The next seal to be opened is the second seal, which goes to the east of Israel, and there are a number of candidates that could fulfill the prophecies related to the second seal of Revelation. A few of the pictures of candidates are right here. When the third seal of Revelation is opened, we see a black horse, and its rider held scales in his hand, and a quart of wheat is for a day's wages, and 3 quarts of barley for a day's wages. But it says, do not damage the oil and the wine. So the third seal is connected to a black horse and its rider. Its rider has some control and is holding scales in his hand, which indicate that a day's worth of bread will cost a day's wages, but don't damage the oil and the wine. So if we break down what we see behind the third seal, we see a black horse, and that would indicate the north of Israel. The rider has got some control and is holding scales, and he apparently is involved in damaging the wheat and the barley, so that a day's worth of bread, wheat or barley, cost a day's wages. So there's significant damage to the world's supply of wheat and barley. But there's also no damage to the oil or the wine, which could be related to various other parts of the world. So what's behind the third seal? Black horse. And as we've seen in previous presentations on the first and second seals, the horse assignments indicate the direction from Israel in which these countries, riders, leaders are from. And in this case, it's the black horse, which would be north of Israel, which seems to point through a couple other countries, but right at Russia. So I think Russia seems to be the most logical candidate. Vladimir Putin, Dmitry Medvedev, the leaders, present, future of Russia. What's behind the third seal? The rider who damages the wheat and the barley. U.S. ignores Russia concerns about missile defense. Russian missiles unstoppable. Now that we've entered into the time of the end, the last generation, a period of time lasting less than about 40 years, and it seems that we've already been into the last generation at least 7 or 8 years, it would be a good time to understand what the Bible has to say about the future, the opening and the unsealing of the seals and the prophecies of God, Old Testament or First Testament, and the Second Testament,